words, and it moved me and affected me in ways that I hadn't anticipated. Every time you go in to see a film, you expect to be moved and to be touched, but this was such a poignant story, and I felt the way it was made, it was sensitive, and the word that just kept coming into my mind was a labour of love, and there was not a dry eye in the room when we saw that, and I just feel incredibly blessed to be part of an experience, because that's what I call what I participated in yesterday, an experience.
An absolute revelation. I had no idea that Audre Lorde had spent considerable time in Germany, and what the amazing story behind it all was. The fact that she had come with the director of the film, the filmmaker, Dagmar. I had no idea, although she's been a seminal person in our lives.
It was so moving, so tender, and so inspiring all in one. When I got back to my room last night, I was, after wiping the tears from my eyes, in happiness. I felt so proud to be a feminist and to kind of have felt the power of Audre Lorde come through the screen.
As a young feminist and as a young non-white feminist, Audre Lorde's work, her poetry, her literature and her writings continue to inspire generations of feminists, and I grew up reading her work, and to sort of hear snippets of Audre performing her work with such vigour and vitality and joy and also pain was an incredibly humbling experience.
The performances that where she read her poetry, or most of it seemed to have been verbatim for her, were extraordinary in the sense that she had that rhythm, that beat, that is so essential in the arts, and I was really interested to see that she was a very good dancer as well. You could see, it was ingrained, but her poetry is just extraordinary, and her reading it enhanced it to such a degree. I was amazed. And her calmness when she was reading. Amazing.
One of the things that most moved me about the film was a particular clip where Audre Lorde says that we as white European women have a responsibility to tackle issues of racism, that they are our issues as well, and that is something that is very close to my beliefs and something that I want to teach and pass on to people. So I think that was a very important part of the film for me.
Racism in Germany, in Switzerland, in Europe must become an issue for white feminists because it is part of your lives. It affects your lives in every way, and the fact that you are not people of color does not make you safe from the effects of it. We must begin to see that because we do not share the actual tenets of problems that affect women, we are nonetheless, each of us, affected by them.
One of the lectures I give on a feminist literature course is around black feminisms, and I also teach lesbian feminism. So Lorde appears in both of those as a kind of powerful figure who challenged some of the kind of white hegemony of feminism in the 70s from a kind of racial perspective, but also from a sexual perspective. And she's a very powerful voice.
I mean, the thing that struck me the most from the film last night, and which is really kind of resonates with my experience of reading Audre Lorde, is the use of poetry to change feeling. And it's almost as if I can't really remember anything of the specifics of Audre Lorde's texts, apart from the kind of feeling it's left me, which is this kind of potential transformative thing. The transformative potential of poetry.
Her poetry, as everyone knows, is extraordinary, but her presence, how positive she felt and about everything. Her own declared lesbianism, difficult in black culture, not easily accepted, but also the ease with which she moved around in all sorts of communities. I love the way she emboldened black women in particular in Germany. That was fascinating, and you could see some of the processes at work. It was like a consciousness raising session, except that Audre was in the lead role, but my oh my was she good, she was great.
The film was so joyful but so serious at the same time, and just the love and the care and the kind of, it was just a really kind of overwhelming, beautiful, important thing to see. And I enjoyed a lot of the kind of, the kind of goofy shots of Audre Lorde, like on the boat, doing her boating. And
that it was like watching not just about a famous theorist and activist, but it was also like watching a film about somebody's best friend, where there was a celebration of their power and their voice in their life, but also a real sadness and a mourning for their loss because of that power. I found it so touching.
And just very moving to see, a woman who was clearly really ill, but with such facing life so full on. It's just very inspiring and just very powerful. So, and what a legend at the end of the day. We were living, you were like her mate. It was this kind of living legend that is so close to us in historical time, even though she's obviously not here in body, but she's here in her words live on.
I think Audre's message is of building solidarities and building them whilst acknowledging difference. And I think there is something to be said about a difference between women, variously defined, and men, variously defined, and what we want and how we perceive the world. Yes, there are similarities, but there are dissonances, and that is where Audre comes in. And Audre's message is, how do we work together? How do we envision a truly progressive future? And I think it would appeal to men and women alike.
It will stay with me, that film. And it's something I would want to show to my students, because the scenes where particularly she not only just speaks back to people in the crowd, but she reads from her work. The intonation and the way she lingers on words and the power of her bringing her work to life comes off the screen.
This film is global in its breadth and its reach, and especially in Australia, which is a multicultural country, and I think it would appeal to feminists of all ages and of all classes and also of all nationalities. There is something about Audre's work and Audre's life that brings people together in this wonderful solidarity, and the solidarity that acknowledges differences, and a solidarity that's predicated on difference. And I think it would really appeal to students, scholars, and feminist activists like myself alike.
I intend to send an email to my university library as soon as I go home to tell them to buy the DVD, because I think the people really need to see this movie.
A younger generation of students need to be reintroduced to Audre. We're already the converted, as I say, but this would genuinely appeal to students not only of feminism, but of literature and of poetry. So I think a two-pronged university and women's group strategy would be the best way to promote this wonderful film.
Loved it, and thank you for such a wonderful film. We'll show it many times and get very appreciative audiences, I guarantee you. That's the truth.